In the shadows of Savannah, where secrets linger and whispers echo, I am Evelyn Harper.
Yet, to those who tread the hallowed halls of justice, I am known as Judge Harper, a name that carries weight and consequence. The title was not one without a fierce struggle. 5 years ago, I turned my back on a family that branded me a disgrace, their scorn echoing in my ears as I walked away into the unknown. They didn't merely shame me, they unleashed a torrent of humiliation that clawed at my very soul. They wiped me from existence. And now, they beckon me to return, as if the haunting shadows of the last 5 years have vanished into thin air. It began with a letter, an innocuous piece of paper that would unravel a web of secrets and ignite a chain of events no one could foresee. It was, on the surface, merely a wedding invitation, thick, cream-colored, adorned with the Hartman family crest, stamped in gold as if it were a royal decree. Yet, beneath its elegant facade lay an undercurrent of tension, a whisper of secrets waiting to be unveiled. Within the dim confines, a note lay waiting, its words etched in my mother's trembling script, a haunting echo of her uncertainty.
Desperation lingers in the air, a silent plea echoing through the shadows. Will you heed the call? Please, come. The void you left behind echoes in the silence, a haunting reminder of what once was.
I ache for your presence, a desperate longing that consumes me in the shadows of my thoughts. Unbeknownst to them, I am weaving words in the shadows. My fingers quivered as I grasped it, not from fear, but from the haunting memories it summoned, the mocking laughter that echoed in my mind, the chilling silence that enveloped me as I gathered my belongings, and the cruel toast my brother Nathan raised in celebration of my so-called failure, witnessed by a room full of relatives. 4 years, I had waged a silent war, crafting a life far removed from their grasp, immersed in the relentless grind of law school, the haunting echoes of late nights in courtrooms, battling for the forgotten souls that society had cast aside. At the age of 35, I ascended to the bench, a monumental achievement shrouded in silence from my own family, as if my triumph was a ghost haunting the halls of our shared history. And now, Nathan stood on the precipice of a life-altering moment, preparing to marry Samantha Wells, a formidable force in the realm of housing rights law, her ascent as dramatic as the stakes they both faced. Isn't it curious how the threads of fate weave together, twisting and turning in unexpected ways? As I stood in my apartment, the flickering kitchen light casting eerie shadows, my gaze fixated on that envelope lying ominously on the counter. A strange sensation began to awaken within me. Not anger nor grief, but a profound, unyielding determination that whispered of impending change. I had no intention of returning to vindicate myself or to flaunt my triumph before their eyes. I was returning, driven by an urgent need to reclaim my voice, to shatter the suffocating grip of their silence that had long dictated my existence. Would you dare to step back into the lion's den after your own family had turned their backs on you? Could you find it within yourself to forgive? Would you dare to stand and fight?
The uncertainty loomed over me like a dark cloud, heavy with anticipation.
I stood on the precipice of revelation, teetering on the edge of discovery, unaware that the truth was about to unveil itself in a way I could never have imagined. Thanksgiving, 5 years ago, marked the final moment I shared the same space with my family, a haunting memory that lingers like a ghost in the shadows of my mind. The air was thick with the intoxicating aroma of rosemary turkey, mingling with the sharp sound of crystal glasses clinking together. A heavy silence enveloped the dining room, a palpable tension hanging in the air as Nathan, emboldened by a few too many drinks, stood to deliver a toast that promised to shatter the stillness. Some of us, he declared, his smile cutting through the air like a blade, have made the fateful choice to uphold the family legacy. Others, lurking in the shadows, waiting for their moment to strike.
Who are they? What secrets do they hold? The air tickens with tension, and the unknown beckons with a chilling allure.
His gaze darted towards me, a fierce resolve simmering beneath the surface, as if intent on shattering all that I held dear. Laughter echoed through the room, a fragile and uneasy sound, as if the very air was thick with uncertainty, leaving everyone teetering on the edge of amusement and shame. My mother, Catherine Harper, gripped her wineglass with a fierce intensity, her lips drawn into a taut, unforgiving line. My father's gaze fixated on the centerpiece, a silent fortress between us, as if I were nothing more than a ghost haunting the edges of his reality.
At the age of 29, I found myself thrust into the relentless
world of public defense, a newly minted warrior battling for those trapped in the shadows of a justice system that seemed to turn its back on them. Each day, I toiled in the suffocating confines of courtrooms, surrounded by desperate souls who yearned for the justice that always seemed just out of reach, their hopes hanging by a thread. To the Hartmans, that was merely a shadow of success, a haunting echo of what could have been.
It loomed like a shadow, a facade of conviction concealing the bitter taste of defeat.
As the clock struck midnight, I meticulously folded my serviette, a silent farewell to the chaos that surrounded me. With a heavy heart and a mind racing with unspoken thoughts, I rose from my seat, the weight of the moment pressing down on me. Without uttering a single word, I turned and vanished into the shadows, leaving behind an air of mystery and unanswered questions.
In the chilling silence of the night, I glanced over my shoulder, heart pounding in my chest.
No one followed me.
The shadows loomed, whispering secrets of the unseen, as I pressed on, the weight of solitude heavy upon my soul. The silence was deafening.
Not a single call pierced the stillness, leaving an unsettling void that hung in the air like a thick fog, suffocating and ominous. Days morphed into weeks, weeks twisted into years, and the silence loomed between us, vast and echoing like an unfathomable canyon. In that haunting moment, I found myself alone at the kitchen table, the shadows creeping closer, as if the very walls were closing in around me. The invitation unfurled before my eyes, a tantalizing whisper of secrets yet to be revealed. My fingers trembled as they traced the shimmering gold lettering, each curve and line whispering secrets of a past long buried. Ryan Harper and Samantha Wells, two names that echo with the weight of untold stories and unspoken secrets. Though I had never crossed paths with Rachel, I was all too familiar with her kind, enigmatic, elusive, and shrouded in secrets that whispered through the shadows.
Shimmering with ambition, a relentless drive pulses beneath the surface.
The kind of woman my family revered, shrouded in an air of mystery and expectation. Yet, that note from my mother pierced through the impenetrable stone wall they had constructed between us, a haunting whisper of hope amidst the shadows. I reached for my phone, my heart racing as I dialed Lena Morgan's number, the one person who had stood by me through the darkest of times since our days in law school. The moment I received the invitation, I leaned in closer and whispered to her, my heart racing with anticipation. The silence hung heavy in the air, a palpable tension that seemed to stretch on forever.
Ellie, are you truly contemplating this perilous journey? I pressed my fingers against my forehead, a wave of tension crossing over me. Uncertainty looms like a shadow, creeping into the corners of my mindestens. I stand at the precipice, grappling with the weight of the unknown.
The answer eludes me, slipping through my fingers like sand, leaving only a haunting silence in its wake. A dark urge stirs within me, whispering to cast it into the abyss of the trash, to rid myself of its haunting presence once and for all. Another chapter unfolds, perhaps the moment has finally arrived. Not for them, Lena Morgan whispered, her voice trembling with an unspoken weight, as if the very air around her crackled with tension.
For you. A gift wrapped in shadows, a promise laced with uncertainty. What lies beneath the surface? Only time will reveal the truth.
As the clock ticked ominously in the stillness of the night, I found myself restless, haunted by shadows of the past. With a racing heart, I unearthed an ancient box from the depths of my closet, its presence heavy with secrets waiting to be revealed. Within the depths of the envelope lay a letter from my grandfather, the sole beacon of unwavering belief in me, untainted by conditions or doubts. His faith was a fragile thread, and now, as I held it in trembling hands, the weight of his words loomed like a shadow over my heart. I unfolded it with trembling hands, his familiar scroll dancing ominously across the paper, each letter a whisper of secrets waiting to be unveiled.
True power whispers in the shadows, Ellie.
It looms majestically, a solitary figure that rises above the fray, casting a shadow that both inspires and intimidates, yet never seeks to crush those beneath it. From the moment you took your first breath, it was clear, you were never meant to be their chosen one. From the very moment you took your first breath, destiny whispered a chilling truth, you were meant to rise above them, to shatter the chains that bind. The shadows of their expectations loom large, but within you lies a fierce fire, waiting to ignite and consume all that stands in your way. Will you embrace your fate, or will you be swallowed by the darkness? The choice is yours, and the clock is ticking. I clutched the letter to my chest, feeling its unwavering power pulse through me, each breath heavy with anticipation. 5 years, a seemingly endless stretch of time, had passed, each moment a relentless reminder of the deep, festering wound that refused to heal. Perhaps the moment had come to confront the darkness that had been allowed to linger, to finally sever the ties that bound it to the shadows. The dawn broke with an unsettling stillness, and in that charged silence, I resolved to take a stand. I was not returning for vengeance or to mend the shattered pieces of the past. I was returning to seize what had been stolen from me, a treasure lost to the shadows of time.
Not the validation of others, but the haunting quest for my own tranquility.
On that fateful morning when I resolved to return, Savannah lay shrouded in an eerie silver mist, a haunting veil that whispered secrets of the past.
I stod by the window, the coffee in my hand growing cold, as I gazed out into the swirling chaos beyond.
Shadows danced in the fading light, and an unsettling feeling crept over me, tightening my chest.
What secrets lay hidden in the blur of the world outside?
For the first time in years, the mere thought of confronting my family did not unleash a torrent of dread within my heart. A dark presence emerged, something other than what was expected, lurking in the shadows, waiting to be unveiled. In the shadowy depths of uncertainty, a single word echoes with a haunting intensity: resolve. It lingers in the air, thick with anticipation, as if the very fate of the world hangs in the balance.
What will come next? The heart races, the mind wills, and the soul yearns for clarity amidst the chaos.
The moment of truth is upon us, and the weight of decision looms larger than ever. Before doubt could creep in and seize my resolve, I sank into the chair, fingers trembling as they hovered over the keys, and typed in the name that haunted my thoughts: Samantha Wells.
The urgency clawed at me, a relentless whisper in the shadows of my mindestens.
I had to uncover the truth. Who was Nathan binding his fate to in this perilous dance of love? The search was swift, a heartbeat away from discovery, as shadows danced around the corners of uncertainty. Rachel was a bride forged in the fires of destiny, her presence a storm waiting to unleash its fury. She stood on the precipice of greatness in the realm of housing law, her passion for tenant rights igniting a fire within her. In the courtroom, she was a force to be reckoned with, fierce and unyielding, ready to battle against the shadows that threatened the vulnerable. And then, in the shadows, it emerged. In a world teetering on the brink of chaos, a shocking revelation has emerged, sending ripples of uncertainty through the very fabric of society. As whispers of scandal and intrigue swirl in the shadows, the truth remains elusive, lurking just beyond the reach of those desperate for answers. With each passing moment, the stakes grow higher, and the tension thick. 8 months ago, she strode into my courtroom, a figure of defiance and determination, her voice rising like a storm as she championed the cause of tenants teetering on the brink of eviction. In that moment, the weight of her name eluded me, shrouded in shadows of the past, a haunting echo that would soon unravel the very fabric of my reality. In the shadowy corners of the room, an unsettling silence loomed. No self-satisfied greetings pierced the air, no hints of her clandestine bond with Nathan dared to surface. In a world shrouded in shadows, a young lawyer stands at the precipice of justice, determined to fight against the tide of corruption. With every case, the stakes rise, and the weight of righteousness bears down upon their shoulders. Will they emerge victorious, or will the darkness consume them whole? I leaned back in my chair, a sly grin creeping across my face, as the shadows danced around me, hinting at secrets yet to unfold. My brother, the very one who had ridiculed my path as a public defender, was about to wed a woman forged by the very rulings I had etched into the annals of justice from the bench.
The irony hung heavy in the air, a storm brewing on the horizon of our fractured family ties.
Life, I mused, possessed a wicked sense of irony that could twist fate in the most unexpected ways. Yet, the choice to leave was shrouded in complexity, a labyrinth of emotions that went far beyond mere attendance. The haunting question loomed over me, a shadowy specter whispering of the toll it would exact, emotionally, mentally. What price would I pay for the choices ahead? As the clock ticked ominously, I dialed Lena Morgan's number once more, my footsteps echoing through the shadows of my apartment. "Ellie," Lena Morgan whispered, her voice barely breaking the tension in the air, "what is it that you truly desire from this moment?" My heart raced as I hesitated, the words clinging to the edges of my mind, refusing to break. "Free. Perhaps, just perhaps, closure awaits on the horizon, shrouded in uncertainty and anticipation. Or perhaps, to finally escape the haunting sensation of having fled.
Lena Morgens voice trembled, a whisper lest vis unspoken secrets.
Then, with a heart pounding like a drum, step into the unknown. But venture forth, if you dare. Not to demonstrate a single thing to them. Later, in the shadowy confines of my bedroom, I unearthed the necklace my grandfather had bestowed upon me upon my triumphant passage of the bar, a silver pendant, hauntingly shaped like Lady Justice, glinting ominously in the faint light. I secured it around my neck, a shiver coursing through me as its familiar weight pressed against my skin, a haunting reminder of what was to come. It was not a weapon, but something far more sinister lurked beneath the surface, waiting to reveal its true nature. It loomed before her, an ominous reminder that sent shivers down her spine. On that fateful morning when I sealed the RSVP, an unexpected diversion beckoned me into the unknown. Rather than following the expected path to the courtroom, I found myself drawn to the cemetery, where the weight of my grandfather's resting place awaited me in the shadows. The air hung heavy with tension, the ground slick and treacherous from a rain that had come too soon, leaving an unsettling chill in its wake. As I knelt before the cold, unyielding stone, my fingers trembled, brushing away the remnants of time, stray leaves that whispered secrets of the past. With a heavy heart, I placed a delicate bouquet of lilies at the foot of the grave, each petal a silent tribute to a love lost, a life extinguished too soon. For what felt like an eternity, I remained frozen in place, enveloped by the heavy silence that clung to me like a shroud. With a voice that trembled with intensity, he declared, "We are profoundly grateful for every success story that has emerged from the shadows, even those that defy convention." A chilling ripple surged through the air, its edges cutting like glass, accompanied by a haunting laughter that echoed in the shadows. With a deliberate inhalation, I sensed the chilling touch of the pendant resting against my throat, and then I rose, heart pounding, ready to face the unknown. Silence enveloped the room, thick and palpable, as if the very air held its breath, waiting for the next heartbeat to shatter the stillness. Every gaze locked in, a palpable tension filling the air. With a heavy heart, I approached the grand piano, the air thick with anticipation, and placed a seemingly innocuous manila folder upon its polished surface. With a heart pounding in my chest, I slowly, cautiously pried it open, each movement laced with tension and anticipation.
Headlines schimmert ominously beneath the flickering chandelierlight, casting shadows that whispered secrets of untold stories.
In a world where justice hangs by a thread, the pursuit of excellence in the judiciary takes center stage. The stakes are high, and the tension palpable as the most esteemed awards for judicial excellence loom on the horizon, promising to honor those who dare to uphold the law against all odds. Will the deserving emerge victorious, or will shadows of doubt cloud the ceremony?
The anticipation builds, and the fate.
In the shadows of society, a storm brews over the issue of housing reform. Whispers of change echo through the halls of power, as the fate of countless lives hangs in the balance. Will the cries for justice be heard, or will they be swallowed by the silence of indifference? The clock ticks ominously as the battle for a fair future unfolds, and the stakes have never been letters of commendation from the state bar, a testament to valor and skill, whisper secrets of triumph and recognition, echoing through the hallowed halls of justice. My name, etched relentlessly, haunting the very corners of Nathan's existence, a mark he could never hope to erase.
With trembling hands, I grasped a single letter, the paper crinkling beneath my fingers.
As I unfolded it, each movement felt like an eternity, the air thick with anticipation. I began to read aloud, my voice barely above a whisper, as the words danced ominously in the dim light. For unparalleled dedication to the scales of justice and an unwavering resolve to champion the cause of the public good. My voice remained unwavering, a steady beacon amidst the encroaching shadows. The silence enveloped the room like a thick fog, and in that stillness, the sharp click of a camera shutter echoed ominously from the shadows at the back, sending a chill down my spine.
The silence unfolded around me, thick and heavy, as I placed the letter down with trembling hands.
How amusing, I remarked with a hint of irony, the weight of the moment hanging in the air. For a soul who was said to be unable to bear the weight of existence, I found myself ensnared in a whirlwind of relentless activity.
A hushed whisper cascaded through the throng. A palpable tension hanging in the air.
Nathan's face drained of color, a chilling realization gripping him like a vice. For the first time all evening, the facade of his perfect smile began to crack, revealing the turmoil that lay beneath. Yet, it was not Nathan who held my gaze. It was Rachel, the name that echoed through the shadows, sending a chill down the spine of anyone who dared to utter it. The air thickened with tension, as if the very universe held its breath, waiting for the next move in this unfolding drama. Her eyes darted between me and the documents, a tempest of confusion swirling within her. Recognition ignited like a spark, swiftly morphing into a piercing clarity that cut through the tension in the air. With a heavy heart and trembling hands, she removed the engagement ring from her finger, each second stretching into eternity as the weight of her decision loomed over her like a dark cloud. The room held its breath, a palpable tension hanging in the air, as if it were alive, waiting for the next moment to unfold. "You lied," she said, her voice a whisper yet laced with an intensity that pierced the silence, leaving a wound far more profound than any shout could inflict. Nathan's lips parted, yet silence enveloped him like a shroud, leaving only the echo of his unvoiced desperation hanging in the air. With a trembling hand, Rachel placed the ring on the piano, its glint catching the dim light, before turning to face me, her eyes filled with an unspoken tension. In that fleeting moment, time seemed to stand still as our gazes locked, a silent storm brewing between us. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely breaking the silence, as if the weight of her gratitude hung in the air, thick and palpable. Then she turned and walked away, her shoulders squared, each step deliberate and unhurried, leaving in her wake the flawless facade Nathan had painstakingly crafted, now crumbling like dust in the wind. I lingered for a heartbeat, the oppressive silence thickening around me, as the burden of countless unvoiced secrets pressed down, heavy and foreboding. With a swift motion, I pivoted, clutching the folder tightly against my side, and made my way back to my seat, each step echoing with an unspoken tension. The night stretched endlessly, shrouded in an eerie silence that hinted at secrets lurking in the shadows. Soft laughter echoed through the dimly lit room, a haunting melody weaving through the air, while the sharp clink of glasses rang out like a distant alarm, hinting at secrets lurking just beneath the surface. Yet, an unsettling change had taken root. The ominous quiver of the earth, a harbinger of chaos, as it teeters on the brink of an explosive rupture. The fallout descended with a chilling swiftness, leaving a palpable tension in the air. As I finally stepped through the door that night, the weight of the world clung to me. I shed my dress like a second skin, the fabric pooling at my feet, and reached for a glass of water, desperate for clarity. Just then, my phone erupted with a buzz, its screen illuminating the darkened room with ominous headlines that beckoned me closer, each one a whisper of secrets waiting to be unveiled. Not from the major outlets. No, Nathan was far too cunning for that. But from the tabloids, the gossip blogs, the shadowy recesses of the internet where reputations are mercilessly shattered and secrets lurk in the darkness, waiting to be unearthed. Whispers of betrayal echo through the shadows as an anonymous source unveils a chilling tale of a disgraced judge who clawed her way to power, wielding intimidation like a weapon. The courtroom, once a sanctuary of justice, now stands tainted by her ruthless ambition. Whispers among former classmates paint a haunting portrait of Evelyn Harper, a woman shrouded in emotional turmoil, her very essence teetering on the brink of chaos.
What secrets lie beneath the surface of Judge Harper's facade?
Who is this enigmatic figure, shrouded in mystery and authority? The truth beckons, lurking in the shadows, waiting to be unveiled. With my eyes shut tight, I drew in a deep breath, releasing it slowly as I braced myself for the sharp, fleeting pain that threatened to overwhelm me. This was Nathan's playbook, tainted with deceit, shrouded in shadows, and alarmingly familiar. He remained blissfully unaware that I had meticulously orchestrated my plan, waiting in the shadows for the perfect moment to strike. Weeks ago, a fateful decision loomed over me as I chose to attend the wedding. In the shadows of that choice, Lena Morgan and I meticulously crafted a press package, an arsenal of my judicial appointments, letters of endorsement from esteemed senior judges, accolades that shimmered with recognition, and media coverage that chronicled my relentless battle for housing reform and juvenile justice. Each piece was a testament to my journey, a narrative woven with ambition and resilience, waiting to unfold in the most unexpected of moments. The truth, stark and unyielding, emerged from the shadows, ready to unveil its secrets. As dawn broke, casting a ghostly light over Savannah, she awoke with a sense of foreboding. With bated breath, we unleashed it into the world through every public channel at our disposal. Silence reigns, a heavy stillness that speaks volumes.
No desperate cries, no heartfelt appeals.
Just an unyielding void, waiting for the storm to break. In the stillness of the moment, a single post emerges, anchored by a haunting truth: facts are stubborn things. They linger in the shadows, refusing to be ignored, challenging the very fabric of belief and perception. In the shadows of history, a name echoes with the weight of ambition and turmoil: John Adams. As the clock struck noon, a palpable tension gripped the air. Every major news outlet had seized upon the story, igniting a firestorm of speculation and intrigue. The airwaves crackled with fury, a tempest of indignation swirling not around me, but directed at the insidious smear campaign lurking in the shadows. From the shadows emerged a chorus of voices: public defenders, housing advocates, former clients, and even esteemed law professors. They stepped forward, not at my behest, but driven by an undeniable urgency, compelled by a shared purpose that echoed through the silence. With voices that thundered like a storm, they rose to speak for me, unwavering and resolute, their conviction echoing in the charged air. As the shadows deepened, Nathan's meticulously crafted facade began to splinter, revealing the chaos lurking beneath. Whispers echoed through the corridors, a chilling revelation that his PR firm had silently severed ties with him. Invitations to join the esteemed medical boards were suddenly snatched away, leaving a chilling silence in their wake. Donors retreated into the shadows, their support slipping away like sand through desperate fingers. His once radiant aura faded to a haunting glimmer, teetering on the brink of oblivion. But what of my family? In the heart of chaos, they resorted to the age-old ritual of the Hartmans, a desperate dance with flames as the house succumbed to the inferno. They sought to vanish, cloaked in the guise of courteous words and the heavy silence of locked doors. Yet this time, the silence hung heavy in the air, charged with an unspoken tension that threatened to unravel everything. It was a crucial thread woven into the fabric of the tale, a moment that held the weight of destiny itself. The calls began to seep through the silence: second cousins, aunts, and even long-forgotten family friends, each one a harbinger of something ominous lurking just beneath the surface. From the very beginning, there was an undeniable spark within you, Ellie, a brilliance that set you apart from the rest. The whispers of fate have always hinted at your extraordinary destiny. In the shadows of doubt, I stood firm, clinging to my convictions, refusing to succumb to the whispers that painted you in darkness. In the shadows of doubt, a truth emerges: your strength eclipses that of all who stand against you, a force unmatched and undeniable. It was a moment suspended in time, a haunting realization that echoed through the shadows: too little, too late. I remained silent, for the truth had already unleashed its power, shattering the illusions that years of denial had built. It loomed, an unyielding presence that demanded attention. Instead, I redirected my gaze to the only thing that truly mattered: the relentless pursuit of my craft, the life I had painstakingly forged, a stark contrast to the suffocating confines of my gilded childhood prison. Weeks slipped by like shadows, and then, in a moment that felt both surreal and electric, I grasped the acceptance letter for a federal judgeship. This was no mere appointment, it was a testament forged in the fires of sleepless nights, tangled in the web of impossible cases, and fueled by an unwavering conviction that greatness was mine to claim, with or without their approval. As I pressed my pen to the paper, sealing my fate with that signature, an eerie calm washed over me. My hand remained steady, defying the storm brewing within. As I released it into the abyss of the outgoing mail, a shiver coursed through me. I dared not glance back, for the weight of what I had just unleashed hung heavy in the air, a silent promise of the unknown that awaited. 1 year later, on a warm spring evening, I found myself at the threshold of the Savannah Community Foundation's annual gala, a gathering I had poured my heart into organizing, not for the allure of prestige or the flash of cameras, but for the neighborhoods that had placed their faith in me long before the world took notice. The intoxicating scent of jasmine hung heavily in the air, a haunting reminder of the revelry within, where laughter and music intertwined, echoing like whispers of secrets yet to be unveiled from the depths of the ballroom. Within those walls an eerie silence reigned, no grand marble columns to elevate the spirit, no family crests to whisper of legacy, and no frantic displays of desperation seeking validation. Just an unsettling void, heavy with unspoken truths. Just ordinary souls, public defenders, teachers, housing advocates. Those who grasp the haunting truth that the most profound battles often unfold in the shadows, far from the glaring spotlight of headlines. The night enveloped me as I slipped into a simple black gown, its fabric whispering secrets of elegance and mystery. Shadows danced around me, hinting at the untold stories that awaited in the darkness. In a world where opulence reigns supreme, I stand apart, adorned not with designer labels or glimmering jewels, but with the haunting weight of the Silver Lady Justice pendant resting against my throat, a silent witness to the shadows that lurk around me. A haunting echo of my origins, a stark reminder of the treacherous path I have traversed alone, each step a testament to my relentless pursuit of freedom and strength. As I navigated the thrumming sea of bodies, shadows of the past emerged, their faces etched in memory, sending a chill down my spine. Not the ones bound by blood, but those who had woven themselves into the very fabric of my existence, becoming my true family in the shadows of uncertainty. Fellow warriors who stood shoulder to shoulder with me in the relentless battlegrounds of the courtroom. Neighbors who had once roared with triumph for every hard-fought victory now stood in silence, their cheers echoing like distant memories in the shadows of uncertainty. Young lawyers, their eyes gleaming with ambition, stood before me, each one a vessel of untamed potential, ready to embark on a journey fraught with uncertainty and peril. And then, at the very edge of the room, she emerged, an enigmatic figure shrouded in shadows, her presence sending a shiver down my spine. Rachel. The name echoed in the shadows, a whisper that sent chills down the spine. What secrets lay hidden beneath that single syllable? The air thickened with anticipation, as if the very walls were holding their breath, waiting for the next move in a game where stakes were life and death. Who was she, and what fate awaited her in the darkness? The clock ticked ominously, each second stretching into eternity, as the mystery deepened, drawing everyone closer to the edge of revelation. She was a shadow of the woman I had glimpsed at the engagement party, a mere echo of the one who had turned her back on Nathan, her spine a fortress of quiet resolve. She rose with an undeniable strength, her gaze piercing through the shadows, her stance imbued with an electrifying lightness that hinted at the storm brewing within. In a world where glamour reigned supreme, she stood apart, no designer gown draping her figure, no sparkling ring to signify her worth. Clad in simple jeans and a blouse, she exuded a quiet strength, an unyielding presence that demanded attention without uttering a single word. With each deliberate step, she traversed the room, the air thick with tension, as if the very walls held their breath in anticipation of what would unfold next. As she approached, a heavy silence hung in the air, her eyes betraying no hint of remorse or reason for her actions. In a moment thick with tension, she extended her hand, a silent invitation that hung in the air, heavy with unspoken possibilities. Not in pity, not in regret, but in a haunting recognition that lingers in the shadows, waiting to unveil its true nature. I seized it, the weight of my decision heavy in the air, a moment suspended in time, fraught with uncertainty and consequence. In an instant, the cacophony of the room dissolved into an eerie silence, leaving only the pounding of a heart echoing in the void. The music swelled, a haunting melody weaving through the air, while the clinking glasses echoed like distant thunder. The hum of conversation buzzed with an electric tension, each word a potential spark in the charged atmosphere. In the stillness, a haunting truth lingered, casting shadows that danced between us, whispering secrets that begged to be unveiled. We had broken free from the suffocating grip of the Hartmans, no longer shadows of the turmoil Nathan had unleashed upon us. We stood amidst the lives we had painstakingly constructed, each of us a fortress of solitude, yet undeniably intertwined in the shadows of our choices. Later that night, I stood in solitude by the expansive windows, my gaze fixed on the Savannah River. The city lights flickered like distant stars, casting an enchanting glow upon the dark waters, each shimmer whispering secrets of the night. My hand trembled as it ascended, fingertips grazing the cold, unyielding pendant that hung heavily against my throat. They attempted to obliterate my existence from the narrative, I mused, a faint smile dancing at the corners of my lips, as if I held a secret that could shatter their plans. I crafted a far superior version in its place. In the shadows of our lives, it is often those we hold closest who wield the sharpest blades, leaving marks that run deeper than any wound inflicted by a stranger. They emerge from the very souls who were meant to cradle our hearts with love first. Yet, the scars whisper a tale that is far from over. In the shadows, they linger, poised at the precipice of fate, waiting for the moment when everything changes.
This is where it all begins.